Hi, now we are going to discuss about the single inheritance, right? Now here we'll not implement any method, any functionality of the class, but we'll just try to explore the relationship between the classes, right? For the examples, here we have defined the class called shape, right? And then we have all these class which is kind of inheriting from the shapes. That means we have built a ellipse which inheriting from shapes. We have built the classes which inheriting from the ellipse. We have the polygon which inherit from the shapes. Rectangle inherit from the polygon, square inherit from the rectangle, and triangle inherit from the polygon. So we have these many classes. Some of the so all the classes, all these classes have some one way or the other way as a relationship with the shapes, right? And these two classes are in a different direction, and these classes comes in a different directions, but they are all connected with the shapes. So here we can see that first we have the shape class. Now from the shape class we have the two class, ellipse and the polygon, right? Now from the ellipse, we have built the circle class, and from the polygon, we have built the rectangle, and from the rectangle, we have built the squares. And again, from the polygon, we have also this another class called triangle, right? So we have these relationships, right? So again, here we can say that ellipse is a subclass of shape, right? Here we can see that, or we can also say that polygon is a subclass of shape. Again, let's check that to check this whether this particular class belong to some other subclass or not. We have this function called is subclass. Here we are saying that ellipse comma shape. That means we are saying that whether this ellipse is a subclass of shape or not. We can see that it is, so it will get true, right? Now, but what about the instances? Here we are creating a two instance. One is the instance of shape, other is the instance of ellipse. Now we are trying whether this is the instance of uh, S or not. So basically whether this C here S and E both are the object, but we are checking in the relation of the subclass, so we'll get error because both are the object, right? Now to check with the particular object is the instance of particular class or not. For that we have the is instance function. So we can use this is instance function. So here we're saying that whether the E is the instance of ellipse or not. It is. So we'll get true over here, right? But we only see that here because now here we're checking whether this E is the instance of shape or not. Now since E is the object of the ellipse, right? Since ellipse is a subclass of the shape, right? So object of the ellipse will become the instance of the shape, right? So here E is also considered the instance of the shape. So we'll try this. We'll get error over here, right? Now here we can see that. Now here we are trying to check whether this square is a subclass of shape or not. Here we see that in the shape we have this. So squares come from the rectangle. Rectangle is a subclass of polygon, and polygon is a subclass of shape. So it is in this tree, and because their subclasses are following the square class, so square will also become the subclass of the shape. And here we can check that. We'll get true over here, right? Now again same will follow for the instances as well. So here we are creating the instance of square SQ, right? And now we are trying to check whether this SQ is the instance of square. This will be true because it is. It has a direct instance. Now we are trying whether this square is the instance of rectangle or not. Here square is the instance of rectangle because this square is the subclass of the rectangle, and rectangle is a subclass of polygon. So their instances will become the instance of rectangle, polygon, and square as well. And here we're trying that. Here we're trying this whether this SQ, this object belongs to the rectangle or not. It will be true. Here SQ, we are checking whether this SQ is belong to polygon or not. This is also true, and this will also be hold true. But the square is not the subclass of the ellipse. Why? Here we can check that. So we have this as in square, and square emerges from rectangle, rectangle emerges from polygon, and polygon emerges from the shapes. but we're checking whether the square emerges from ellipse or not. No, it is a totally different object. So in this case, we'll get false over here. We can check that here. So the object of square will not be the instance of ellipse because it is a different object. So a particular if a particular class is a subclass of the of some classes, then only their instance will become the instance of a particular class or not. Here in this case we'll get false, right? Now here, now we when we create a class, right, we do not have to inherit or we do not have to define anything from here. So this is our bare minimum class, right? So we are defining a person class and that's it. We are not inheriting from anything, but it is implicitly inherit from some class actually. So every class that you build in a Python that inherit from the object class. Yes, the class name is the object, right? And that's the reason we say that everything is Python is object. That means everything in Python that you create that belongs to the object class, right? We'll explore the object class, right? Here we are checking that whether this person is a subclass of object or not. Yes, it is. Here we are getting the object of the person. Now we're checking whether this P is the object, P is the object of person or not. Because it is, so we'll get true, right? Now we are also checking whether the square is a subclass of object or not. It is, so we'll get true. Because whatever the class you'll build, that will belongs to a subclass of some classes. Here we're checking whether this the object of square is a instance of object or not. Because this holds true and their object relationship will also hold true. Their instance relationship will also hold true. We'll get true over here as well, right? So this is a basics single inheritance and the basics relationship between the classes we have seen. Thank you very much.